Break since then. How have you handled the downtime?
No, it's good because I started Sunday and then 3 days day off. I was surprised firstly, but then it was okay. I have time to practice, and because not this playing this tournament, I have other tournaments in Australia. That's good.
Well, I have to say congratulations. First tennis player from Uzbekistan to crack the top 50. You're one of the top seeds for this tournament. How do you approach an up-and-coming player that you haven't met before?
I saw some matches in this tournament also. He's playing very nice, and three matches he come back very good. I try to do my best, and we will see what's happening.
Well, we wish you all the best for the match. Enjoy. Now, Denis's opponent has battled through the qualifying rounds. Matt, step on in. Massive opportunity for you. You must be very excited. Talk me through emotionally the different stages of this tournament for you so far.
Yeah, I mean, coming through qualifying is never easy. There's a lot of guys who've been in the top 100 in the qualifying draw even. So, that was the first stage. And, up to the second round, had a day off yesterday, just had doubles. So that was good to freshen up. And, hopefully I'm fresh to start the rest of the tournament.
You go out on court as the underdog with the nation's support. Do you feel that you have nothing to lose, only experience to gain?
A little bit. I was in this situation last year, so this time I'm putting, maybe a little bit more pressure on myself to, these are the sort of matches I need to start winning. So, yeah, I'll do my best.
Well, you look like you have the hunger in the eye. Best of luck out there.
Thank you. Cheers.
Well, at the end of 2009, Matthew Ebden was ranked 331 in the world. By the time 2010 drew to a close, he was 196. It's a tough task ahead of him to advance to the quarterfinals, but this week we've already seen so many upsets. Could another one be on the boil? His opponent, Denis Istomin, is the #1 player from Uzbekistan who is ranked 40th in the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, men's singles action now on Pat Rafter Arena. From Uzbekistan, please welcome Denis Istomin. And his opponent from Australia, Matthew Ebden.
Well, as the players make their way onto the court, we'll let them get settled, and we'll be back with the start of their match right after this.
Gentlemen, did you get a chance to hit this morning? You did? You did? Did you get a chance to hit this morning? Okay, so we'll stay with the 5 minutes. The challenge system is on, and we'll start with 3. Any questions? Denis, heads or tails? Head? It's a head. Serve. Good luck.
Well, in 2010, Denis Istomin was the finalist of the New Haven tournament on the ATP World Tour, and the semi-finalist in San Jose, at Eastbourne, and in Moscow. He made the final round of the tournament of Hamburg. He made his Grand Slam debut in 2006 at the Australian Open Tennis Championship in Melbourne. And in 2010, he went through to the third round of the Australian Open and also at the Wimbledon Championship. He comes to Brisbane as the 8th seed here in 2011. From Uzbekistan, please welcome Denis Istomin. Last year, of course, Matthew Ebden went through to the round of 16 here at the Brisbane International. On the Futures circuit in 2010, he won tournaments in Britain, while on the Challenger circuit, he was a finalist in Kyoto in Japan, a semi-finalist in Brazil, and here in Australia, and a quarter-finalist in the United Kingdom and France. He also made his first appearance in the main draw at the Australian Open Championship in Melbourne in 2010. From Australia, on Pat Rafter Arena, let's welcome Matthew Ebden. Ladies and gentlemen, the chair of this men's singles encounter, we welcome from the United States of America, Mr. Steve Ulrich.
Well, only two men's quarter-final spots remain up for grabs here at the Brisbane International. One of those spots is about to be hard fought for by Matthew Ebden of Australia and that man, Denis Istomin of Uzbekistan.
Gentlemen, did you get a chance to hit this morning? You did? You did? Did you get a chance to hit this morning? Okay, so we'll stay with the 5 minutes. The challenge system is on and we'll start with 3. Any questions? Dennis? Heads or tails? Head? It's a head? Serve? Good luck.
So Denis Istomin winning the toss and electing to serve. In the commentary box for you this afternoon are Renee Stubbs and Todd Woodbridge.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. There's one word to describe the weather outside, and that is wet. And you may have heard during the coin toss then the umpire asking the players whether they'd hit or not. And the reason he did that is if they didn't get a warm-up, they would have actually been able to have a 10-minute warm-up out on this court, which is very unusual. I've never really heard the umpire ask that, Renee. I know the rules in place.
Well, usually they ask that question, but they usually know the answer because the players will tell the WTA or the ATP Tour that they didn't get a hit, so the umpire will allow them to do 10-minute warm-ups, but not on this occasion. They both got a hit. And on the screen is Steve Ulrich, very experienced American umpire. And on your screen, not so experienced Australian Matthew Ebden.
No, he's had a great 12 months, as Joe mentioned, that he'd been 330 in the world, and now he's had a career high this year at around about the 165 mark, about 196 at the moment, but really made a progression in his game, and he's worked hard. He's travelled a lot throughout this year with Anthony Lane, his coach.
And on screen there, the big Uzbek, age of 24, world ranking of 40. He also has made a progression up the rankings, Todd. Just every single year getting a little bit better. You can see a finalist there in New Haven in Connecticut, the lead-up tournament to the US Open, semi-finals in Moscow, Eastbourne and San Jose. And what I see there, Todd, is a very good player on all surfaces, hard court, clay, grass. So this is a young man that's looking to improve every single year, which he's done so very well in the last 12 months.
Well, Matt Ebden's 23, just 1 year younger, and he's really he's run a similar course in the way he's progressed through the rankings as what his opponent has. If you can see there, he's currently ranked 172 in the world. He was a bronze medalist at the Commonwealth Games for Australia, which was a big event for him. And we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in just a moment for the start of this match between Australia's Matt Ebden and Denis Istomin. It's the Brisbane International on a very wet day up here in Brisbane. Fortunately, we've got the great roof here at the Pat Rafter Arena. It's really a cover as opposed to an indoor stadium. Occasionally, last night during a match between Marty Fish and Radek Stepanek, they had to pause for a moment because the rain got so heavy that it was coming in on the sides, but didn't last too long. As soon as it backed off, we were fine. So
you can see the openings there on the side, Todd, and what happens is if it gets a little bit breezy, then the wind tends to push the rain underneath that cover and onto the court. But thankfully, we've got that roof here this week because we'd be in trouble with the schedule if that wasn't the case.
Well, both players just taking a last swig of water and tying their shoelaces a little bit tighter. And I was just mentioning that Matt Ebden, 23, his opponent Denis Istomin, who's 24, and the progression that they've made. Istomin has been coming along very gradually through the rankings, and then all of a sudden this past 12 months has gone from outside the top 100 to 40 in the world. And he's an achiever because he's solid, he does everything well, and he's had to learn his trade, and that's exactly what Matt Ebden's been doing the last couple of years. What you'll see out of Matt today is an extremely good athlete, very fast, very agile, likes to sneak forward into the net. He's what I'd call an adequate volleyer who's improving a lot as he works on that part of his game.
Well, a big test for the young Australian today.
Well, a well-structured point, a little bit nervy on this half volley here. Didn't have a lot of feel about it, but this nearly ended up being in.
Yeah, he really read that passing shot well. A little unlucky with the shank off the frame.
I was talking in the gym area, just where the players wait to go out with Matt Ebden's coach, Anthony Lane. They work in the Davis Cup squad that we've put together with Tennis Australia. And Anthony was saying the most important part about this match is the first 4 games for Matt, to be sure that he settles and that he can at least stay even for about the first 15 minutes so that he feels comfortable.
Because it is really a big occasion for him, a very big opportunity to improve on his ranking, which we all know is, the difference between making money or not with the ATP and the WTA. The higher your ranking, the better tournaments you get into, the more opportunities to make a good living out here. Another thing, Todd, it's so difficult. The young players, and they don't have the experiences, you want them to not play outside of themselves, not feel like they have to do anything special. Obviously, if you're playing an opponent that's outright beating you, then you need to improve on what you're doing. But the one thing you want to tell Matt is just try and play your own game out there, and let's see how well you can do.
Game Istomin.
Well, it's a solid opening game from Denis Istomin. He leads 1-love. And sitting courtside for us today with, I don't know what the weather feels like. I imagine it's fairly humid. Sam Smith in there.
Well, actually, it's not. I'm a bit chilly, to be honest with you. I think I've messed up here. I should have brought a jumper. I actually can't believe how cool it is. It is courtside. I haven't got the right gig, I think, for this match. You're nice and warm in that commentary box. I've been certainly done.
Oh, Sam, you're from London. Come on.
You know, it is slightly warmer, I have to say. I can't complain too much.
You can see the brollies at the back of the court are up. You get that little breeze that pushes the wind in, so Sam, you can let us know if the players look like they're getting a little bothered at all by any wet conditions.
Well, one thing for everybody to note at home there, we take a look at the support crew of Matt Ebden. On the left there in the black T-shirt is his coach, Anthony Lane. And the gentleman in the blue T-shirt there, the Japanese fellow, he's... his name is Yutaka Nakamura, and he's the strength and conditioning trainer that works with the Australian Institute of Sport in the Davis Cup squad for Australia now, and he's been doing a great job at keeping Matt Ebden fit this week. This is his 6th match, in fact, his 5th singles of the week. Won a doubles yesterday with Peter Luchak of Australia, so they're through to the quarters in that event.
Oh, that was exactly what he should have done in that last game. Absolutely beautiful. The first point, as you said, Todd, a little nervous, but on that occasion just handled it so well. Istomin, very big young man down the other end, so if you can get him to move forward, that's a good idea. So a very good touch, half volley.
Well, that'll make him feel very settled.
One game on.
Sneaky serve, Matt Ebden. Doesn't look like it's that big, but that one there at 194 kilometres an hour, he positions the ball well into the court, hits his mark consistently, and that's one of the reasons that you don't think power-wise it's all that big, but when you hit the spot all the time, it builds pressure on that returner.
Yeah, his service motion reminds me a little bit of Roger Federer.
He'd be pleased. I mean, Matt would be pleased to hear that.
Not quite at the start, but the motion is very similar, very easy, like you said, Todd. Sneaky big serve.
Love 15.
You just mentioned the movement, and that was certainly one of the areas that tactically Matt had talked about, how he needs to defeat Istomin, particularly going back in behind the wrong footing ball.
Todd, he's got to do a little bit more with those forehands. He's kind of guiding it a little bit. And I have a sense that that's probably his weaker side. Be a little bit more aggressive when you get those forehands. Istomin is a big chap. He's going to look to get forward.
Fault call. And that shot there is one that Matt Ebden's worked on a lot throughout the last 12 months. He's been a natural two-hander, trying to get the slice backhand to penetrate and keep low so that you make that opponent have to get down, but also it's been effective in improving his single-handed backhand volley.
So the young Aussie, it's very unusual. He could probably get a little bit more on his serve, Istomin, but kind of like a stagnant up and down sort of service motion. Well, he drops that elbow down quite low. Doesn't get as much into the court as he probably could. Have to serve well to get out of 2 break points now for the young Aussie.
Well, just the start that the Aussie was after. Matt Ebden, he gets an early breaker serve here in the opening set of this second round match. He leads 2-1.
It's 2 games to 1. Time.
Well, that's the wing that can fly occasionally, that forehand. It's the first time Matt Ebden's been out on a centre court at an ATP event, so it's a big day for him, but it's not the first time he spent many hours on this particular court.
It does help, there's no question. But just watch the service motion. Boy, it really does remind me of Federer's.
That's a great play, up on that short ball early, through the line. Matt was here early, well, it was early last year now when Australia played against Japan in the Davis Cup. It was a red clay court down on here at that particular time, but he spent a lot of hours out here beating balls with Leighton Hewitt.
Well, that's exactly what he's got to do, I think, Todd. Any kind of short ball, he's really got to jump on it, try to make Istomin get over there and make a big passing shot, because he is quite a big guy. Obviously, movement not his forte. Just right at the top here, really he gets his racket head up and reminds me, not the start, but right there, through there, it really does remind me a little bit of Roger, and I'd be safe to say I think he's probably tried to mould it after him at some point. Every player tends to do that after their... It's the serve you were talking about, Todd. Sneaky angles and uses the pace out wide very well here. You know, you grow up idolising players, and there's no question he probably idolised Roger Federer.
Well, this has been an excellent start for Matt Ebden. You couldn't hope for a better one, in fact, and everything going his way with the net cord. But you could see there, Denis Istomin just a little bit slow getting up to that one.
Well, we talked at the start of the coverage how the team with Matthew Ebden wanted him to really concentrate on the first 4 games. He's got to be absolutely ecstatic. He's just very talented, isn't he? He's very athletic, and he just made that move over to that overhead look so easy, very quick.
Oh, I like that play. Well, this one comes from having played a lot of matches this week and being very confident. You see the ball, you hit it, you've got your mark in your mind what you want to try to do, and you go out after it. Ebden fought his way through qualifying. In fact, he had to play 2 matches on one day because of rain, and that first match that he played was outdoors, full sunshine, very hot day, really sapping. Got through a long 6-4 in the third, then had to go back out and play again on another 3 setter.
Oh, lovely. Gee, Todd, when he gets onto the forehand and gets up to it and uses his athletic speed, right here you see he just jumps on this forehand. He's looking to get forward, which is so nice to see. And you're up 3-1, you've got to break, take some chances sometimes. He had a very good win as well, hard fought, just an absolute battle out against fellow Aussie John Millman. 6-4 in the third, and the crowd was going crazy, so it was a terrific match. So he's had a lot of tennis this week.
Chance for the double break. It was a good passing shot here. He didn't go for too much. Kept the ball heavy, spun it down low on the toes of Istomin.
Sometimes the let cord helps and hurts, because on that occasion I think if that hadn't hit the tape, that would have been a very good forehand down the line. It jumped off the net and gave Istomin a chance to get around and rip a forehand.
Double faults again. Matt Ebden with the double break. He leads 4-1.
Ebden leads 4 games to 1. Time.
Great start for Matt Ebden.
Love 15.
Sam Smith, who's sitting sideline. Sam, it's gotten a little darker because the lights seem brighter.
No, actually, to be honest with you, courtside it seems fine. In fact, I'm actually amazed at how good the light is here. The court leaves a lot of natural light, and the spotlights are fantastic.
With the rain out there, Sam, is there any distraction with noise and so forth? Because Istomin, he hasn't been that focused so far throughout this first set.
No, actually, it's really not noisy at all in here. You suspect it would be. They've obviously done wonderful things with this roof. I just have a feeling that maybe Denis is a bit cold, because that's the main thing out here. It's actually pretty cold.
You just feel, as an opponent, to get 2 break points and have your opponent double fault to you on both occasions, that has to feel pretty good as well. Sam, this is probably one of the first times you've seen Matt Ebden play. What do you think?
Well, actually, I saw a lot of him in the Com Games in Delhi, and I'll just wait for this point to go over and I'll tell you what I think. Lovely play. What I think he's done is, I think he's added maybe 10 or 20 Ks to his rally ball, because in Delhi I was a little bit worried how he was going to get onto the main tour. He didn't seem to have the biggest game, but I think he's really upped it in the last couple of months. It's impressive.
Well, he's back from love 30 in that game, and he's at 5-1, Matt Ebden. And this is what's coming up next. It's the #1 seed, Robin Soderling from Sweden, and he plays the German Michael Berger. Soderling just keeps getting better and better. The big, strong guy hits the ball as hard as anybody off the ground, and that's coming up next.
Oh, but he will have his shirt on for all the ladies.
15 low.
Now, you're exactly right, Sam, about the weight of shot of Matt Ebden. That's what he's had to do.
It's just an absolutely terrific start for the young Australian, and probably the biggest occasion of his career, there's no question. Being in Australia, he'll get a lot of publicity if he continues to do well, so just a terrific start. Looks very composed, Todd. I'm really impressed with that. And I really feel that Istomin is bothered by the speed of Matt Ebden. It's almost like he doesn't know where to go with the ball sometimes, because Matt's running them all down.
No, well, that was the first winner from Istomin in the first 6 games, so proof in the pudding there. That's a strong service game, holds to love. Ebden, 5-2.
Ebden leads 5-2. Time.
Matt talked about the importance of, okay, yeah, I had a pretty good year last year, but this is the moment. These are the times that I have to step up and start winning these matches, and it was just so terrific to hear that from the young man. And he knows that this is an opportunity he cannot let slip by.
15-30.
Well, these are the moments right now that you have to grasp on that. You've got a chance. You're serving for sets. They're the moments when you start to think about those things as a tennis player. You start to get a little nervous.
And often when you're the opponent, you realise, well, you feel like, oh, well, I'm out of this set. I'll just sort of have a bit of a go and take the pressure off yourself. So the opposite is happening on both ends of the court.
30-40.
Chance for a break back. I liked the move forward, but I think he made it a tad late, Todd, and it really put him in a bit of a tight. He was behind the baseline when he hit that shot. And
Game Istomin.
All right.
Ebden leads 5-3.
Well, there was a sign there, wasn't there? Just a little apprehension at serving it out. And Istomin, 40 in the world, you're not there for reasons that you don't know how to play and you don't know how to hang in. He's got to win a lot of matches throughout a season to get to that ranking, so we know he's got fighting qualities.
But it's amazing what speed down the other end can do to some of your shot selection. We see that when people play Novak Djokovic, Rafa, Nadal. The great players all move so well. Andy Murray. I definitely put Matt Ebden in that category for speed.
Love 30.
It's sort of like that. The small parts, the shots that you're trying to hit become very small because all of a sudden the guy you're playing against, he's there. And you feel like he's always there. And Istomin doesn't look like he likes to come into the net very often, so that could hurt him in his career.
Please.
15-30. That was a pretty special forehand down the line, wasn't it? He really went for this one out of position and just ripped it. You watch, he's sort of very relaxed and then all of a sudden just lets the racket head go a little bit quicker.
Started with 2 unforced errors off the forehand, Istomin, in this game, but now finding range.
Just didn't do enough with that volley, did he, Todd? Fantastic passing shot, though.
Yeah, it's for certain.
Yeah, I think you've got to be very careful at the men's game, and any time you allow your opponent to run onto a forehand, they've all got great forehand passing shots. At least if you go into the backhand, you stretch them, they may have to take that hand off and hit a slice. Then you've got them defensive.
40-30.
Now you know that Matthew down the other end is starting to really think about things, and he's got to settle himself down, try and stay in this game. Get it back to deuce.
Game, Istomin.
Just starting to find a better range. Ebden leads 5-4. He'll serve for it when we come back.
5 games to 4.
Sam, and I'm going to be Sam. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Time.
What was crucial here for Matt Ebden to win the opening point. It was an unforced error off the forehand. And these are trying moments for the young Australian.
About coming in on the backhand as opposed to the forehand, but that forehand right here, it didn't have enough on it. It was sitting right there, and he had enough time to be able to pick that backhand up down the line.
Yeah, when you approach, you've really got to try to hit your targets. That ball sat up on the service line. If you're going to go into that corner, it's got to be in the corner.
Well, I think, Todd, it's fairly imperative for him to get a lot of first serves in from now on, or he is going to be in trouble.
A let off.
Todd, we know as players things can change very quickly, and what I see from Matt Ebden is he's not hitting through the ball right now, as Istomin on the other end of the net is really going for it now. So he's got to step it up.
Better that time on the approach shot from Ebden.
40-30.
He gets his first set point.
He's used that wide serve so effectively today.
Too good. Too good.
Deuce.
Gee, not a bad tactic. He hadn't used the serve volley at all in the match. And element of surprise. The opponent here, that was a very good return because that ball jumped out wide.
Terrific again with the wide serve. Now as a player you think, should I serve and volley again? Should I stay back? Lots of things going through the mind of Matthew Ebden. Set point number 2. Oh, Todd, you know he thought about where to hit that forehand. Should I go back inside out again like I've done the last couple of points? He almost might have taken his eye off the ball very quickly, just a little bit, and saw Istomin moving to that side. So back to deuce.
Now, second serve.
Well played.
Well, watch Matthew right here. He sort of hesitates when he hits this shot, and then he runs in. Oh, okay, now I'm going to go. And thankfully, a little wide, but that's the pressure you put on coming into the net. You take away the big part of the court. So set point number 3.
Unforced errors there at 9 and 3. I'd dispute that, because I know there were 2 unforced forehand errors coming from Istomin a couple of games ago. That's certainly not there.
Just can't believe that he keeps giving Matt this wide serve, can you? If you're his coach, you'd be saying stay over there and just stand over there, make him go down the tee. But Matthew, very smart though, using that wide one, opening the court up. Set point 4.
This time he gets it. Australia's Matt Ebden takes the opening set, 6 games to 4.
Time. Second set. Ready for play. 15 love. $30-15.
Matthew Ebden just showing his speed, defensive skills there. Magnificent athlete. Tests the fastest of any Australian tennis player presently under all of our strength and conditioning examinations. Well,
40.
Oh, that's double fault number 6.
and they've come on break points, 2 of them in the first set. That one delivers an opportunity for Matt Ebden to get a great start to the second. He does. The Aussie. He's up a set and a break. Sam Smith, you're courtside with Anthony Lane.
Anthony, it's going very well for Matt so far. If you could get out there and talk to him, what would you advise him right now?
I think just probably more of the same. I'd like him to stay really aggressive, keep trying to apply some pressure onto Denis. I expect probably Denis is going to respond a little bit, so he's seeing a little bit of Matt and how he's playing, so he's going to need to absorb some quality, I think, coming up.
If Denis does raise his game, Matt's been very aggressive, which is, you know, a new part of his game. How do you think he'll trust his game enough and stay positive?
Well, we've talked about it, and to back himself and go for it is what he needs to do at this point, I think. So hopefully he will commit to it.
Okay, thanks very much, Anthony.
15 love.
Athleticism once again.
That's the aggression that Anthony Lane wants him to continue with. Anthony's been a long-time coach for the Australian pathway for the players, Australian Institute of Sport coach, this year been working in our Davis Cup squad. Then he's been travelling with his wife and young son. And next year, or I should say this year now, he's heading back to Adelaide where he's going to work in the National Academy for Adelaide. So he's worked in just about every one of our pathways, so from the young ones to the best juniors and our Davis Cup team. So an amazing resource for us.
He's a terrific guy too. Just I don't know if you could tell from that interview, he's pretty mellow. But I think the main thing, what he was saying there, was just getting across that he expects Istomin to step it up, which I feel he has done in the last 3 or 4 games. And I think Anthony would like Matthew to continue to be aggressive.
Just like that. It's a way, the best way to consolidate that break. Coming up tonight, it's Andy Roddick and Marcus Bagdatis, two of the big names on the men's ATP Tour. What can you say? Both of them drawing the crowds. Entertainment at its best.
Looking forward to that one.
Ebden is challenging the call, right side service line. It's called in. Ebden with 2 challenges remaining.
Well, worth a try, especially with Istomin throwing in a bunch of double faults.
30 love.
As you can see, a little upset with his serving today, there's no question, and it's cost him a great deal.
Istomin had a very good win in the opening round here. He beat Timo de Backer, the young Dutchman. He's one of the players to watch, really dangerous. Won that match in straight sets, 7-6, 6-4.
We know the importance of a double break. Matt Ebden was up 2 breaks in the first set, lost his serve when he served for it the first time, so he'll be looking to get as many opportunities to break as he can.
Doesn't get it this time though. Istomin's on the board in the second. Ebden leads by a set and 2-1.
Ebden leads 2-1. Time. Love 15.
You and I have been around a long time, Todd, and we know that these matches, that's a long way from over for Matt Ebden. Every single game is going to feel like It's going to feel like moving a mountain almost.
That's Claudia.
30-15.
That is Denis Istomin's mother and his coach. They travel the tour year round.
She looked like she wanted to hide then.
Firstly, it's unusual on the men's tour to have a female coach. Secondly, it's even more unusual for it to be your mum.
30 all.
Well, that first serve barely missed, and Matt was almost a little bit sort of hesitant. And then sometimes when you go into the second serve, you're not really thinking too much about it. And on that occasion, throwing in his first double fault of the match. Well, I think if that was my boy, she would be thinking, why are you not standing out to cover the wide serve?
I think that was what the little shake of the head was all about. That's a good play.
Ebden leads 3-1.
And he just keeps going with the same play here, and it's working. He keeps remaining aggressive, making Denis Istomin come up with the big shots, and so far he's been unable to. One of the reasons he can keep doing it is Istomin keeps dropping it short.
15.
Yeah, he's not centering it as well as he has been in the last few games, and it's almost like he's gotten a little bit tentative himself again in this match, so allowing Matt Ebden to be a little bit more positive with his body movement. Sam, you're sitting up there in the crowd, and I know that you're probably thinking, oh, if you could just get into Matt's ear, I'm sure you'd be wanting to tell him something.
Well, I just think it's really impressive how he's backed himself with what is a new game for him, being so aggressive, and you keep waiting for the Istomin response, but it's not really coming.
And from time to time he's throwing in some really quite bad unforced errors, so for the Aussie he's just kind of trying to keep his composure here.
You really get the sense though courtside that Matt is incredibly confident out here, and he really trusts in his game right now.
Well, that one might be worth a challenge. What do you think, Sam? You were sitting up there. You could probably see the baseline better than us.
Well, it did look a little long to me, and I did have my eyes lasered a couple of years ago, so hopefully all that expense wasn't completely wasted.
Oh, they just replayed it, and you're right. It was out.
Thank goodness for that.
There it is again, the double.
30-40.
Seventh, and that's been his undoing.
I mean, how many times today, Todd, have we seen him double fault on absolutely massive occasions?
7.
Yep, 7 times, but 4 of them have been really crucial. 2 break points and 2 to give break points. So he's coming down every time on that second serve. Does not use his height at all.
Well, things look terrific for Matt Ebden. He's got the number 8 seed in trouble. He leads 6-4, 4-1.
Ebden leads 4-1. Time.
Okay, Mr. Head of Men's Tennis here in Australia, Todd Woodbridge. It's got to make you feel pretty good to see Matt doing what he's doing today.
Well, it's terrific. It's certainly not over yet, though, Renee. But one of the reasons these things happen is because people do hard work and they've got good attitudes. And we've had a terrific month at the December Showdown in Melbourne prior to this. And consequently, through the hard work, the wildcard playoff,
30-15.
all of the Australian players here this week have performed very well, and this would be a massive result for Matt. But as I say, he's playing against a guy ranked 40 in the world, and what he has to do out there right now is think about none of that. He's got to continue with the game plan and the relaxed attitude that's got him to the point of leading by a set and a double break.
Oh, wow. It's unbelievable these days how well the players move on hard court. They slide up to the ball, and that's what happened here. A terrific shot there, a little bit lucky, but watch him here. Slides into the shot, which allows him to be a little bit more controlled when he hits the passing shot. Terrific for a big man. So break point opportunity for Istomin.
Game Istomin, new balls. Ebden leads 4-2.
Oh, Mum's still not happy. But Todd,
that's
wow.
what that was exactly what I was talking about, though. You just have to stay on it. You can't get ahead of yourself in this game, and it's a long way from being over.
He guided that backhand volley. It was a terrific, actually, point structure that he went for the serve and volley, gave it a little bit more kick on the serve, and allowed him to get on top of the net, and just didn't finish it off. So new balls here for the big Ukraine, down a set and a break.
Istomin is challenging the call, right side, far sideline. Call is called out.
Well, that's going to be a replay.
Replay the point. 15-11. Point, please.
Forgive the linesman for that. That one was only 4 millimetres in.
We've seen this particular passing shot a few times from Istomin in the match, but a lovely one from Matt there. He's taking his time.
Well, Istomin there, he came into the net and he hugged the wrong side of the centre line. He stayed left and left the whole line open. Just not a natural movement for him in terms of flowing forward. Istomin, though, just forcing it a change of tactics here, which is impressive. He's had to do something different. He's now the one coming forward, trying to make Ebden come up with the shots, and that will build a bit of pressure for the young Australian.
So this was what happened in the first set. Mum's looking a little bit more pensive now, almost like she feels like her son could get back into this match, and it's amazing how the facial expressions change throughout the day when it comes to a match when you're watching your son.
That's aggressive tennis. Things are tightening up just a little bit for Matt Ebden. 4-3 in the second.
Ebden leads 4-3. Time.
Oh, terrific, wasn't it, Todd? He really turned that shot right there. He got him out of court and decided, okay, here's my chance to hit the open court and come in. And this is what you want to see. Aggressive tennis.
Well, this is probably the most important game of the match, because if he can get ahead, there's been a bit of a momentum swing the last two games, but if he can get ahead, get to 5-3, have a chance to serve for it.
See if Istomin starts looking for the wide one.
Love.
Possibly looking for it a little more there. Barely wide, that forehand. Matt was happy to hear the out call, and he should have challenged that one. Surprising, really. I mean, this part of the match, you've got 3 challenges remaining.
Support crew there. Anthony Lane, the coach, Yutaka Nakamura, physical trainer, Matt's girlfriend and his sister. His parents are here too somewhere. They're over from Perth. But they like to hide a little bit. They sit back.
A terrific serve again out wide. I don't think he knew where to take that on the forehand or the backhand with the half volley.
Ebden leads 5 games to 3.
So now comes the moment for Matt Ebden where he has to really control his emotions. His heart rate will be beating a little bit quicker. He'll be somewhat anxious. He'll be excited. He's got to keep the feet moving, and he's got to continue to play what's got him to this point. Just got to try to get all thoughts out of your brain. And just played a good solid point, tough volley, didn't quite make it. This is where the head's spinning, no matter, even though he's ahead.
Well, Todd, you just know things like that when you run one more ball down like this. I mean, this was a clean winner against most people, but Matthew runs over there, makes the big guy hit another ball, and that can cause so many errors from your opponent if you can just get one more ball back in the court. Now as a player, like you said, Todd, the brain is spinning. He's thinking about he's probably ahead of himself here, thinking about having to serve for the match. He's not concentrating on this particular game.
The 8th seed hangs in. It's Ebden. He leads 6-4 and will serve for it at 5-4.
Ebden leads 5 games to 4. Time.
Just the start that Matt Ebden needed.
15 love.
Sam Smith in the courtside position. What's the crowd like there?
Well, it's interesting. They've been very anxious since he got a couple of breaks ahead, but this is the first time I've really heard them get behind him, and it's good to hear them being much more vocal and pumped up out here.
Very clever chip backhand, and Matt Ebden's got 3 match points.
Istomin is challenging the call. Left side.
This could be interesting. It could be over.
I think this is a hope from Istomin.
You can see the joy on Matt Ebden's face. He's through to the quarterfinals with a great win over the number 8 seed Denis Istomin, 6-4, 6-4.
Oh, a lovely smile from the face of Matthew Ebden from Perth, Australia. Just kept his composure throughout the whole match today. Played extremely well, served well at the big times. His opponent, Denis Istomin, did not serve as well as he would have liked today as he leaves the court here at the Brisbane International. But what a terrific day for tennis in Australia for the men. As young Matthew Ebden through qualifying. He's got himself through qualifying. He's still in the doubles here and now through to the quarterfinals here at the Brisbane International. And I'm sure a very excited young man. I'm very, very happy for him. He's going to walk over right now and have a conversation with Todd Woodbridge, who I'm sure is ecstatic to do this interview.
Matt Ebden, congratulations on a fantastic performance today. Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Matt, it's been a big week for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Never easy to go through qualifying. A lot of tough plays in there as well. Had 2 matches on the first day, so I'm glad I did some hard work last month, and thanks to my trainers and the people who did the work with me, and kept my body going and able to fight through matches.
I want you to do me a favour. I want you to hold your hand out like that. It's shaking a little bit.
Yeah, it's never easy, I guess. Well, coming into the match, someone said I have no pressure on me, but I thought, well, if I put a little bit of pressure on myself, it's probably, a bit better. Really chase the result rather than the experience. And, I'm really happy.
Looking forward, you got a possible matchup with, I think it's the first top 10 player that you might have played if Robin Soderling gets through in the next match, but he plays Michael Barra. Still a bit to go there, though.
Yeah, obviously, obviously the top 10 speak for themselves. They're great players. I've played a couple of guys near that ranking and, had a decent go. So I guess, those are the guys you've got to beat at the end of the day. So, someone's got to beat them, hopefully. So hopefully me.
I'm sure all of our Australian fans are hoping for that as well. It's been a big turnaround for you the last 12 months. You've really made some progress. You're at 330. You cracked the top 200 for this first time, and this is another big step to reach a quarterfinal of a tour event. But what are the experiences throughout the last 12 months that have made that difference for you?
Yeah, Brisbane's actually been a great place for me. It's probably started here 12 months ago for me. I made my first sort of breakthrough in this tournament. So, you know, I was really looking forward to coming back here. You know, I guess each time you lose a match, you learn a lot. Each time you win, you learn a lot, but you're sort of quite excited, so you don't learn as much. But, you know, just keep training hard, keep working on improving the things you need to, and, you know, try to get there at the end of the day.
Well, keep working hard because you've got another match here in the quarterfinals. Matt Ebden, congratulations on your performance today. Well done.